Hello, students. So welcome back. So in this particular course, we'll learn how to build. We'll continue from our last course, from our last topic, last class, and then we'll learn how to build this calculator, a simple Tkinter calculator that does this, right? So let's see how to get started with that. So if you've not watched the first tutorial on this series, which is application development with Tkinter, Python Tkinter, please just watch it so that you get to understand how we simply set up just 3 lines and we're able to run Tkinter, just like that. And we moved forward to this, practice widgets and then practiced button clicks and events. You understand? So it will be easier for you to understand this particular class, right? So this is a step forward, a step higher than the other ones I just showed you. So let's create a new file called calculator. Can I spell it well? .py. Okay, so that's the calculator.py, and let's see what we can do with it. All right, so to get started, we have from Tkinter imports all, and app is equal to tk app dot main loop. Okay, so we may have title as well. So I want to use variable to just show you how we can do it with variable. So we can just have title is assigned the value of a calculator. Okay, yeah, Python programmer already, so we can play with variables with this. So you now say app dot title. That's a function from Python. And instead of typing the title here like we did before calculator, you simply call the calculator, the title function, which will give you calculator. Let's just try this so that you get to understand. So this is it. It shows on the title calculator, right? So that's not really necessary. So what's necessary, what we should actually do now, it's we'll have our geometry, and we'll set our geometry, and let's start working with widgets as well. So after setting our geometry, we'll start working with widgets. So let's see the kind of geometry we can have here. So app.geometry, we can use something like 300 times 300 times 300. Let me just try 300 times 300 plus 200 plus 50. Let me try that first and see how it looks like. I don't want it too big. Calculator, I need something that looks like this, a bit like this. So let's close this and let me adjust some things, and then it should get to the center of the screen. So let me make this 400, 150, 150, and then let me just remove. Okay. So, okay, this looks better. So this looks better. We can work with this, right? So the first thing we'll do is to our widgets. Okay. So we will need buttons. Okay, we will need buttons. We will need an entry. We will need this. We will need an entry box here. That's a text box here. We will debunk these ones. We don't need these ones, but we will have we will need the rest of them, including all these operators, okay, and equal to, right? So let's go ahead. So the first one will be entry. Yeah, entry. Let's assign the value of entry. Then we have that app object. So entry, that one will just be, so we can just say, can we leave it text 0 or whatever? So let me just leave it for now. Okay. All right. So okay. So After that, let's just have a font, maybe int dot grid, add it to the grid system, and then we have grid row, should be the first row, 0 column 0 0, right? So the same way we will need buttons. Okay, so we need our buttons as in 7, 8, 9. I want the buttons to show like 7 and 8 and 9. So we need the first button. Once I make the first one, don't worry, I'll copy it for the rest. 7, and I'm bound to make mistakes. I'm just doing this. I'm not like copying it anywhere. So please bear with me if I make any mistakes. I'll make sure I sort them out before the end of the video. And I'm just trying this, sorry. So button, like realistic tutorials. Okay, there are tutorials. If you are good enough, you're able to spot, that lecturer has made a mistake somewhere, and you find out when, or I mean how it can be corrected. Okay, so button 7, button, and then we have a button. We need a text here. We need that to be maybe 7, just 7. That's why I don't like this thing showing up. It blocks my view. It should be smart enough to know when I need it. So button 7 or grid. So its own grid will be, yep, so 1. So let me just add 3 buttons and show you what will happen first. So I've added 7, I'll add 8 and 9. So this is on the same row. So 1, and this should be 2, and this should be 9. This should be 9. 9. Okay, so let's see. There's something I want you to notice. Okay, notice that because of the, can I call it elongation, or because of how this input, this entry has extended, we can't have smaller entries than this except we explicitly define the length, the width, right? So because of the width of this entry box, so it makes the entire first column to be, it makes the first column to be longer, right? So 7 has to, just take the entire space because of, so the way we can fix this is to make sure we use a row or a column span for this particular one, okay? So for the entry on the grid, we can have a column span to solve that problem. Column span, maybe 4. So if we try to run that again, so it has spanned over, or it has spanned over, up to 4 columns, over 3 columns. So that's a good way of doing it, right? So there, 7, 8, 9. So we'll have 4, 5, 6. You understand? So, but let me just complete this this one. Let me just complete this one, add it somewhere, this divided by, that division stuff. So we need one more just for the division on that particular row. So division now. So that one will be, I'm looking for it on my system. So let me just use it, sorry. So divide, right? And let me copy it to be, oh my God. Let me copy it to make sure it's the same. So some syntax or whatever, very annoying. this thing is very annoying sometimes, honestly. So let's have this row. So 3 here, right? So if we run this again, so we notice that we have this and we fix this first line that we are looking for. So we fix this and I've used this here. You get what I mean now? So that's the first row. So let me close this and work on the second and third row before checking that again. So let's have this. And I hope they are not too spacious. Can I bring them together? How will they look like? They are not too spacious, please. I like clean codes. Okay, so I've pasted the second one. Let me just comment it by saying second row. That makes sense. Yeah. So that's the second row of widget. So we have 4, 5, 6 should be the second row. 4, 4. Yep. 4. So that should be row 2, row 2, row 2. We have 5 here. 5, of course, 5, 6, row 2, yep. 6, 6. And the next one was, yep, the next one was multiply, right? So we change this to multiply. Multiply. So we can use times there. Okay. And this is row 2. So without much ado, let me just copy this and implement for the third row first before we test the functionality. So this is the third row. So this will be 1, 2. Oh my God, that should be 1 again. 2, 2, 3, 3. And the third one was minus, subtract. So we copy this to be exactly the same, subtract. And this should be row 3, row 3, row 3, row 3. So that you not get confused, I can just say third button row because this is not actually a third row. Third button row, right? And for the rest as well. Second button row. And this is first button row. Okay, so that we don't, this is actually the first row, which is entry. So, so this is first button row, right? So let's not get confused with some things because they can be costly later on. So this is button 1, 2. Okay, so we change the text 1. We change this to 2. We change this to let me just be sure of something that this is recording. Okay, so we change this last one to 3. Okay, so button 1 equal to this button. All right, so row 3 column, so row 3, row 3. Okay, I think everything looks good. So one more row, let me just make sure I do it at once so that we have a plus button. Okay, so fourth button row. So this should be like button dots. Let me just call it dots. So this is what I'm talking about. Okay. So for mine, I'll just place this one here. Okay. I'll just place this one here. And let me see if I've pushed this for, then I'll place this one here so that it won't. Do we need this one here? I'll just place clear here. Let me place clear here, then place dots here. But dots always looks good here. Um, maybe we'll have a clear button somewhere else. I'll have to have plus here and plus here and equal to here. Yeah, let me just see how that goes. Yep, I understand how my phone calculator looks like. So like in my head, I'm trying to also create something that comes out from my phone. So, but let's just see how it goes. So we have dot first, and that's full stop, and that is row 4. The placement doesn't matter at all. It's just your how you understand it. So we have 0, okay, and this is 0. So this should be row, yep, 4. So, oh my God, I left this subtract like this. So subtract should have been here, dash. Okay, I looked at it. Okay, so we have that last one. So 0, 0, and this is 4, and this should be 4. Let me just change them at once. And this should be 4, and then this should be plus at, right? At. It's tiring. One of my students said, can we not do without creating this grid system? I only gave him a grid system with just 2 components, but he was complaining already. What if he has to construct a complex grid system with all this, you know? So, but sometimes it's really tiring, but we have to be swing in Java. If you use NetBeans, I mean, you drag and drop a lot of things, so you don't have to create this, and NetBeans will automatically generate the UI for you once you drag your buttons, drop, and everything. So we would only be focusing on the functionality, but I mean, it's nice having to do this, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. So we have plus there. This is button. I hope everything goes well. Okay, so this is 0, and this is not 3. So dot, and then we have equal. Can we use equal there? Let's use equal there. So button equal. Button equal. Okay, I hope everything. So if we have any mistakes, we will look at them later. So, but this is a normal setup for our calculator. So it looks good. It looks good. It looks good. You can see how it looks now, right? So, one other thing I might like to just add to make it nice is I want to pad the button so that they'll be bigger, right? So I'll have padding. Remember your padding in website design, padding and margin. So padding is actually the space inside of the box, whereas margin is the space outside of the box. If you watch the other video I published, or Zizix published, some time ago, box concept, was it box concept with CSS in website design? Box concept is in the website design videos. So check the box concept, you'll understand padding and margin very well. So margin is the space outside of the box. So in our button case, margin is the space outside of the button. Then padding is the space inside of the button. So we need spaces inside of these buttons. We need, just like we have here, just like we have those spaces here. Okay, so let's put that here. So it's here. So I can have x. So pad x, think about your mathematics. where you have x horizons and then you have y. Okay, so x and y. Okay, so if we have part x, we have part y. For that one, you see it's padded very well. So let me just add a font to make it nice. I don't like that font. So with fonts, you not just type fonts, you have to use bracket because of what, I don't know why that thing keeps popping up. So we have to use maybe Arial, okay, and maybe 20. Okay, so doing that for all of them. So there's a command I used to do this. So you guys should pay me for this. So you click on the first place you want to change. You have several to change. So after clicking on the first one, this is a shortcut. Just hold down your alternate first, click on the rest, all the other places you want to change. Once you want to scroll, you can stop holding your alternate key on your keyboard, scroll to the next place you want to start clicking, then hold down your alternate again, keep clicking all of them. You'll be amazed what this shortcut will help you achieve in the long run. So I keep clicking on them. Okay, I think I'm done. So once you are done, what you need to do is just type, paste anything you have or just type anything you have. It will apply to all. For instance, I do this, everything is changing, so I don't have to type them differently, right? So let me paste what I have, right? You can always even move the mouse, add something, remove something. Very nice. I mean, it's very nice if you can understand how to use that. It helps a lot, especially as you program. So I've added to all of them. Yep. Why are they having okay, yeah, I missed a comma here. So yep, so I just put it up, right? So let me check. The error is actually from the first one. So yeah, so I added up here. So that's nice. So our calculator looks good, looks better, looks good, looks better. Okay, I can just give this more breathing space. Yeah. So, but that's not a problem for now. Please, let's focus on what's okay. So we have more breathing space there. Okay, so I want to also make that entry to be somehow good. So let me add that stuff to entry as well. Okay. Oh, wow, sorry, I placed it on the wrong, I placed it on the grid, so it should be here. Sorry about that. Okay, so, oh, yep. So why is it still not showing? Why is it not showing on the entry? Do we need, let me just remove this. Okay, expectedly. So this shows now, my bad. All right, so you can add margin to separate, but the design is not a problem for now. You want a situation where we click and then it has this for us. Okay, okay. All right, so let's get started on that. So to achieve that, we need a function. We need a function that will help us to do that. So let's quickly create that function. I may just like to put everything here, except there is a need to, not there. So let me move it down. Okay. So we need a function. Okay. So we need a function that will perform all these things for us, right? So we can have the function, maybe uh, let's just the functions. Let me just comment that functions. Okay. So the function can be called or click of the buttons, right? And then it will take a number, okay? And what to do with the number, it will take the current. Let's assign a current to something. So what's the current number? What's the current number? So it will take this, like, to take a current number from the text. Did we have a text display? How did we call it? How did we call this? So first and foremost, we need to, now we are beginning to work on the functionality. So what you need to do first is to give this a variable, right? So let's create the variable first before giving it to. So we need to call this maybe text. Can I just call it text variable or something? Maybe text display. Text display is assigned the value of string var. So this from Python, string var. So you declare a variable like this in Tkinter. Okay, so we need this text display. Make sure you copy it so that it will be exactly the same. So we need it like something I need to mention. If you are having variables for your entry boxes, okay, make sure you call it text variable, right? But if it's for your button, make sure if you are calling a function from your button, make sure it's called a command. Okay, so just follow up. These variables for entries are called text variables, whereas here, if we are doing something similar by calling a function when a button is clicked, we'll use command. Okay, so just take note of that important information. So text variable now is this text display that we copied, and that works now, right? So we have our text variable on that entry box that we have now. So the next thing we'll do is to, yep, we're trying to create something here. So current is equal to text. Oh, let me get something. Let me get something right, please. Sorry. Okay, please let me just call this. I like to add var there so that I know that it's variable that I'm calling, right? So let me just call it that. I maintain that maintain that all the time, you know. So text variable, remember what I talked about, set or get. So you want to get that value that it has. Okay, so we have that text display var dot set. So what do you want to set? The current that we gave plus what? Number, this number, right? But we may have problems. So to have that safe, we cast it to a string. We convert it to a string to be safe because we are using a string var on top there. So this function works, okay? So, but we need another function for this, for general function for all the clicks. We need another function for, say, one button click to make it easier for us. For one button click, we will need, oh, there are actually two ways of doing this. I'll show you the easy but long way to do it. Then later I'll show you the very short way to do it, but it's actually maybe you can get confused. So yeah, all right, let me just, all right, so this is one way of doing it. It might look a bit confusing, but I mean, it's easier to understand, right? So say you have a button. Which button was that first one? That first button was 7. So we have button 7, right? So say we have button 7 now. So all we need to do with button 7 is we call this click and then we give it 7. Okay. So that's what we'll do. So we'll repeat this for all this, but I know it's not really efficient repeating, but this is the easier way. Once we are done with the easier way, I'll show you how to change it to the other one. It's also very easy, but I mean, if you don't understand, it might be a bit complex for you. Okay. But man, that one is just how many codes? Like it's the lines are shorter and it's better, right? The lines are shorter and it's better. Okay, so let's work with this first and make sure that 7 is showing. Okay, so let's see the click of a button. So, okay, so that's this. So we want a situation where when the button 7 is clicked, where is button 7? It should display 7. So how should we do this? So over here, we can add, like I told you about it. So we can have, I like adding it at the end, but maybe I can just add it here. Command is equal to button 7. Actually, this one. Okay, so command is equal to that one. So command is assigned the value of button 7. Okay, so now it's looking for button 7. Now I have to carry this up. That's found button 7 now. So let's try and see. So what happens when we click 7, 7 shows. Okay, so that's what we do when we click 8. We've not done for 8 and other ones, but once we click 7, 7 shows, right? So let's see how to do it for the rest. This will just be a repetition. So yep, 8, 9, A, right? I'll just do it for 3 and then I'll show you it. I don't like this one actually. I'll use the other one. So, but I hope you understand how it works now. So let's use 8, 9, okay? And we have 8 here and 9 and 9. Yep, okay. And I may, okay. So let's just do that and try to add them so that you see that it still works well. So command should be for 8 and for 9. Okay, so if we have 8 here, we have 9. Okay, let me run this again. So you see, if we click 9, it works. Click 7, click 8, click anyhow we click, it works. But when we click this one, so this will work, and then we add and perform some computations. But let me, I'd like to simplify things, So we will debunk this. We don't need to use this. At all. We don't need to use this. So what we will use rather would be to use this what we call lambda, to use lambda function. Okay, so I'll show you exactly how to do that, and it's as simple, it's as easy as ABC. So to use the lambda function, we'll just have lambda value. And we no longer have button 7, that is, or other buttons that are calling the click function. It will make the system so crowded, something we could have done efficiently. We are wasting time. You understand? But I guess you understand why we had to do that. And sometimes for other things, you need to structure it that way, especially if they are not repeated over time, right? So, but if they are repeated, make sure you make use of your Lambda functions. You can also read about Lambda functions. I'll introduce Lambda functions in my Python video. Check zizix.com. That's our website, or check Zizix IT training, Zizix, ZYZICS IT training, on that's our channel on YouTube, right? And subscribe and watch the videos. There are so many videos, Python, Java, and the rest of them, right? Okay, so we change this with the Lambda function. We can now change this to click. Okay, so how do we know actually which one we click? Let's just say we call this 7. Okay. All right, so let's check that. I think we have some error with the Lambda. So we have yep. So we have a Lambda function with colon, and we click that function with the number, right? So let's just implement that for all of them. Okay, so I can just do it the way I did it before. Copy that. I click first, hold my alternate, leave it while scrolling, hold it again when it's steady, click on the rest of the places, click, then hold, click, click, click. Yep, that looks good. So we should be able to change the rest of the things now. So it's as easy as that. So we didn't need, and now with this Lambda functions, which is really beautiful, we didn't need 2 functions. We only needed click function. We don't need the other individual functions, which is not efficient to even an efficient software engineering practice to even bring up here. So this is 9. So all you need to do is to change, and it works for all. So this will be what's that? So I'll talk about this, but for now, with these ones, these operators, all you need to do, just add quotes, okay? But with numbers without quotes, right? So let's just follow along. I tell you why that works. It makes it a breeze when calculating. You don't need functions for your calculations. So 5, so 6. So sorry how, my videos here, I'm just recovering. I was really strong, but I thank God, God has healed me, right? So I'm not so loud today. I'm not so shouting today. So please just bear with me. And I'm a bit slow, just bear with me, okay? But I'm okay. I'm strong now, right? Everything is good now. God has healed me perfectly. All right, so we continue here. Oh gosh, I didn't need to do that. So X, that is okay. With times, you use the operator, right? And the quotes, because they are the operators. You can notice what I've done. And with this, we change to 1. with this, we change to 2. With this, we change this to 3. No. And with this, we change this to, yep. We change that to, what is a subtract? Yes, so that looks good. So, and do we have any error somewhere? Okay. So this is dots, dots, use dots there. Okay, so this one 0, this one equal, and this one plus. So with quotes. Okay, so I think that looks good now. So let's just try it. Okay, so if we click 9, 6, 5, 2, 4, 3, 1, 8, 7, everything looks good. Divided by, okay, we won't know the answer, so let's just, okay, so even if, okay, and then we need equal to, should give us the answer, right? So we need a situation where once we have something like this and perform computations, once we click equal to, it should not like write it, but actually give us the answer, right? So that's what we want to do. So the rest of the operations work, but how would you know if you don't use equal, right? So we want to create an equal to function right now. So let's just go there. Let's go there. So we need another function called def equal to. Okay, so easy function, right? So the equal to function will take results. Okay, and what should, that's, this is a variable we are trying to assign it. What should I assign it? So what are you trying to calculate? What and what are you trying to calculate? Maybe just take a minute and ask yourself. Okay, so let's just think about it this way. So we are trying to grab that calculation we saw, maybe 5 plus 3. We want to grab that operation there and then just perform the calculation at once instead of having to grab two numbers and add them up, because you not know, so, and this is an easier practice to do. So let's just have what we call eval. We certainly need it here, and then we want to get the value of this yeah, we want to get the value of this, all right, of this text box. So that's why I came here. So let me just close it. So with the eval now, all you need to do is to get this value, this text box, this one, text display var, that variable. So you place it here, dot get. Remember what I talked about, dot get? You want to get it. You want to collect the information from there. Okay. So let me just explain what eval means at once. Okay. So eval is a built-in Python function that kind of evaluates a string. There is eval not just in Python, so that you wouldn't think it's in Python. The first time I used eval was on jQuery, that's JavaScript. So you often find eval, especially in JavaScript and their libraries, right? So, but in Python, it's a built-in Python function that evaluates a string as an expression. So it evaluates a string to be an expression. That's just what we are talking about. So instead of having num1 and operator with num2. So we just use eval to evaluate this string. Let me put it for you. So to evaluate 7 times 6, for instance, to evaluate this set of strings, as an expression. Okay, it takes a string as input, passes it, and executes it. Okay, so it makes life easier for programmers. So we use that eval function, but I think let's convert it to string so that we don't have the conversion error. Okay, so that's fine. So where do you want to print this? Where do you want the result to show? Do you have another text box for the result to show? If so, you call that text box and set it there. But if not, if you still want it to display here on that text box we have, you can have dot get, right? Or dot set, I mean to say. So we set there. Okay, so what are we setting? The result. You often see me copy variables and placing. The thing is, it's safe to do that. Otherwise, if you go and type results and maybe mistakenly do this, it will cost you a lot. So always copy and paste to make sure that it's exactly the same thing. So this is equal to, right? And what we do to the equal to now, we will need that command and we will need that button to actually execute that for us. So we need equal button. Where are you? So the click, you shouldn't show equal to. Okay, so what it should show should be equal to. Let's just test that that works well. So if we try 2 plus 3, we try equal to, it gives us 5. Do you understand? So it looks good, it looks good, it looks good. So I calculate, have you seen how easy it is? Just to call equal to that we created. And it works like magic. Can you see? Equal to, we have string. I've explained what eval means, is safe. And then we convert it to string. So get what was already here and give it to result variable, then actually evaluate it and perform the calculation. Eval performs the calculation from the strings directly and operators, and then show it on wherever you want to show it. For our purpose, we want to show it on the same place. So we just set it there, right? And then all you need to do is to call it here. So not like others, for it to change it to equal to, and there you go, just that function, and you don't need to add this, you don't need to do that, right? So just that function, and there you go. So 9 uh 9 times 2 equal to 18. Let's just be sure everything works, but we have a small problem now. We have to close the app and open it all the time, so we need one more button that will clear this for us, clear the screen, so that we can start another one, like the on button or the C button, famously called on calculator, C button. So let's just create that C button to clear. So we need just one more button, and I'll put it at the very bottom. Button clear. Button clear. Okay, so row 5, column 1 of or 0. Yeah. So clear, I can just call this C for clear. The command, what will it do? It should have a separate command. This command should just be clear. We will define it as variable up here. So clear, and then we have the error because we've not defined it. So let's go there. So we go up here somewhere. It can be anywhere just before that, but I like to just put everything at the same time. So we have functions, we have all the functions at once so that it's easier. So clear, no more errors. So what you need to do, you just want that text box, you just want this to be clear. Okay, nothing should appear, right? So But on normal calculators, maybe you can just use zero. So, but maybe we can just do it without the zero. If you like, you can just add the zero. So equal clear now. So what we need to get text display var dot set. That's all you need. So just set it to what? Nothing. Finish. We've been using single quote, so let me maintain it. So if we try that now, oh my god, let me make this longer so that we can see that. 350, 450. It's actually increasing. That's the width. So okay, it's not still showing all. 500 is fine. So it shows all, right? Now 20. This is 347. 340 will do. Let's this 60. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, 50. Then we push this further to maybe 300, 500. So that centralizes everything for us. Okay, so now if we try 9, why am I always clear? So it's gone. 20, the 27 divided by 9. Why it's not giving us an answer? I didn't. 27 divided by 9. Actually click clear, so that's why. So it gives us 3. Okay, so I clear it now. So 72 divided by 12. Again, 72 divided by 12 equal to, so it gives us 6. Okay, let me try another one. 75 divided by 13 equal to, so it gives us this. You get just like a normal calculator. All right, so this calculator implementation works fine and is very easy. So a recap on some things, okay? We declare a variable to hold the or whatever data will be supplied on the text box, and then we're able to pass that variable here, okay, on the entry on the text box, right? Okay, as text variable, right? For buttons, for clickable buttons that are going to call functions, def functions, okay, we created command, we use the command and then created lambda, use a lambda function to call this function for each of the buttons. So I'll talk about the functions shortly, but notice that as we call these functions for numbers, we don't need quotes, okay? But for operators, we need quotes. Operators are, check my Python course, you see operators as well. So operators are, used for the calculation, for the computing. So check Python series, I think the second or the third, yeah, the third video, the third tutorial on it, you check on Zizix, you see the operator. So with the operators like that, like plus, like this other one, yes, you see minus, like this, okay. So you use quotes around them, but for numbers, you leave them, right? Then on the click function, all we need needed to do was to collect whatever data is there first, and then perform whatever computation there, okay, that we have there. We add them up, not like addition. We add them up so that when we play with this equal to, this line performs the eval for us, evaluates that, the computation for us. So we have the clear for the clear button, and we have the equal to for the equal to button. So while calling them here, because they don't have data types they don't have parameters to return, this one is a method with parameter. Okay, so it has an argument to be returned. That's why you're able to call them with brackets, with 8. Okay, you can't ignore that except you set a default value for it there, up there, right here. Except you set a default value for it, num is equal to something, then it will always have way to fall back on. But if you don't, you have to have brackets and input the correct data for it. Now, but notice that this one, like equal to, where are you? This one, like clear, yep, and equal to. You don't need to explicitly add this. You don't need to do that, right? You don't need to do that. So you just call it because there's no data to be returned. So no parameter to be inserted there. So these are the other functions. So this is pretty much what we were able to do, and I hope you enjoyed the course. I have some this thing for you. So here are things I want you to do. So okay, so I want you to create a simple window. Let me just make this bigger. So create a simple window using Tkinter, a specified size, and a custom background color, okay? So forget about the specified size, just use any size you want, but you have to like change the default size, use geometry and change the default size. So that's the first one. The second one is use labels and buttons in a Tkinter window. Create a window with a label that says hello world, and a button that when click changes the label to button clicked. We did a similar thing, so it might be very easy for you. The third one is create a login form. Create a window with 2 entry widgets, username and password. So once the button is clicked, check if so you use your if. I believe you came from Python background, so use your decision statement, check if the username and password match the predefined values and display a message accordingly. I hope you really enjoyed this class, and I'm happy that I was your teacher. I was able to do this to help you. Thank you very much. Please, I request from you, just drop comments, likes, talk about it. You are free to watch the videos. You see us, pause, rewind, understand it. My own happiness is when you really understand it, okay? And you move into your future, you fly higher, right? I'm not competing with you, I'm not competing with anybody. So I just want you to get the best, achieve your dreams, right? So learn this, ask questions, let me know. Tell your friends about this channel, Zizix IT Training. Subscribe if you've not. I mean, also check our website, zizix.com. Okay. Thank you very much, and God bless you very well. Bye.